Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I can't tell you when's the last time I got so serious about something like this Slapshot remake discussion. And we've had some really good ones coming in here. Jeff in Winnipeg, Camilla says the Baldwin brothers for the Hansons. Wayne in Victoria agrees with my Zach Galifianakis as Denis Lemieux. Denis Lemieux, continuons sa saison. Who would be Dickie Dunn? I feel like Elliot Friedman should play Dickie Dunn. But I think that Billy Bob Thornton is a slam dunk as Reg Dunlop, because this is a very, very important role. This would be the role that might define Billy Bob Thornton's career.
It's the role.
It's the role. And I will go along with Billy Bob Thornton as Reg Dunlop. That's how big of a fan I am of his and of Reg Dunlop's, and nobody has come close to anybody else.
Somebody mentioned Steve Carell. Steve Carell maybe is Jim Carr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He could be Jim Carr. That works for me.
No. The guy whose idea this was in the first place, Robin Wildy, he's watching in PA. He says Liam Neeson as Joe McGrath. Liam Neeson's way too cool to play Joe McGrath. Way too cool.
Somebody mentioned.
John in Winnipeg. John Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
As Joe McGrath.
Yeah. Slam dunk.
Perfect.
Oh, how about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
how about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's, that's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think, I want to make you feel something, and it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. Walk with those who support you. That's your mantra for the day, everybody. And we continue to be doing just fine down here in South Florida, but only for a couple more days as we get ready to make our way back to the Great White North for the summertime. I'm so excited about the program today, and our guest producer, Clark, has really outdone himself today. We've got Mark Moser coming up, the television voice of the Colorado Avalanche, the team that's up 1-0 in the Stanley Cup Final. We have from the Seattle Seahawks, Amanda Ruller. Very much looking forward to their assistant coach. I'm not sure what term she's going by. Amanda Ruller of the Seattle Seahawks is going to be joining us live from the Emerald City. And we're going to go inside the NLL Finals as they go to a deciding Game 3 this Saturday in Buffalo. Stephen Stamp will join us from Lacrosse Link. And let's not dilly-dally any longer. Let's bring in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont, and he was off yesterday. Moose, I don't want to, again, dilly-dally even right now. I know you got some stories from a pro basketball game you went to last night. I just would like to know how you're doing on this fine morning. It's been a couple days since we had you on the air.
It's been a couple days, and when we're off the air, not on together, it feels like an eternity. So good to be back in a great mood today.
Okay, good. Me too. And I wanted to say, Moose, that I discovered a new sports radio station here in the area of which I live, Boca Raton, Florida. I told you I'd been listening to Miami sports radio, but there's a guy on there, don't even know his name, but I can kind of over-listen. I'm over listening to him. And because when he comes on, let's just say his name's Darren DuPont. I can't remember his name. Please welcome two-time championship broadcaster Darren DuPont on blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, come on. Teams I've been with have won 2 championships, and while I have the rings, I am under no delusions whatsoever that I had anything to do with the success, because I didn't. Nor will I take any blame when things are going wrong. Let's talk about the losing teams this guy was with. I can't. I just have a problem with that. So I Googled radio stations, Boca Raton, and I found another one, and Dan Patrick was on there. Dan Patrick. He's still alive, Moose. He's one of your favorite. Is he your favorite? Is he your favorite?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, he's on 640 AM if you're ever in South Florida and you want to listen to him. But here's what they were talking about. Yeah, I found it. Here's what they were talking about. NFL, Jim. NFL. In the middle of June, it was their rankings of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. A reminder, they're not playing. But as I said, the NFL is currently not in season. But I said to the guys in our morning meeting, we've become a hockey show, and we could talk year-round about hockey. I was talking to my sponsor last night, my 12-step sponsor. Actually, this morning, it was about all this summer hockey and how great it's been. He's so old, he still calls them the Colorado Rockies hockey team. And I'm like, no, it's not the Rockies anymore. But anyways, let's not belabor it anymore. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And I know that you and Jordan were at the same pro basketball game last night, so I want to talk to you about that. But first, Andre Burakovsky scored 123 into overtime, and the host Colorado Avalanche opened the Stanley Cup Final with a 4-3 victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning at Ball Arena. Gabriel Landeskog, Valerie Nichushkin, and Arturi Lekin also scored for the Avs, while Nick Paul, Andre Palat, and Mikhail Sergachev scored for Tampa. Game 2, we got to wait till Saturday night in Denver. And I got to think that the CFL's not overly happy. Riders and Elks, potentially their marquee game, going to go right up against Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. But we're going to find out who comes out head-to-head on that. Hey, it was 3-1 Avs, as you know. I was doing the Recovery Hour television program last night where we talk about recovery there. So I missed a good chunk of the game, but I'm like, oh, the Avs are up. Maybe they'll roll in this one. And then no, Darren, you can't. If you have the Lightning in the coffin, you need to secure it with nails, bing, 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 all the way around the coffin. Because they're always going to pound the door open and come back. That's something about the Lightning. They just don't quit. Did you think they were going to come back in that game in the fashion that they did last night in Game 1?
No, I mean, they were getting outshot handedly. I was listening to Mike Johnson talk about the game and the folks in NHL Network, and they were talking about, rest versus rust. And they're all like, we were all wrong. Colorado came out, shot out of a cannon to start that game fast. They outskated Tampa, got out to the lead. But you're right. We've seen it throughout the entire playoffs. Teams get up on the Lightning before, but championship teams don't panic. They don't worry. John Cooper never looks like he's panicking behind the bench. And then Kucherov just continues. That little move he made, and then to dish the pass over. I mean, unbelievable stuff, man. This is like a legend in the making.
Dirty dangles, dude. I can't remember what my guy Mike Johnson said on the NHL Network. I think he called it a filthy pass or something like that. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. By the way, I dropped my pen. Hang on. But every single team except for the Panthers has gotten up on Tampa in these Stanley Cup playoffs, and nobody's been able to close them out. Every team except Florida has gotten up on Tampa. And with these Panthers, oh, my God. I mean, the one thing, talking to Panthers fans, they don't really lose sleep, okay? When their team loses a game or loses out in a series, I've talked to some of them, and I love them. They love me. They tell me. But they've gone on with their lives. They haven't watched any of the Stanley Cup playoffs since their team lost out. And I'm like, that's the difference, frankly, between, I feel, Canadian and American hockey fans. We're watching right to the end, right? Whereas in America, it's if your team's out, hey, there's a lot of other things to do. Which reminds me, I do have to move on. But the poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, with dealerships all across the prairie, Winnipeg, Regina, Calgary, Edmonton, and the United States as well. Who was the biggest factor in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final? Gabriel Landeskog, Andre Burakovsky of the Avs, Vasilevsky of the Lightning, and that's in the wrong reasons. Vasilevsky did not have his best game last night. He just didn't. Or other. And that was Clark's idea to throw Vazzy in there, and I thought it was a good idea. But the last I saw leading this poll was Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, you got 24 hours to vote on it. I'm going to move along to point 2. I mentioned how great summer hockey is. I just love it. The Hamilton Bulldogs beat the Windsor Spitfires 6-1 on Wednesday night to win the OHL championship in Game 1. A 6-1 game, in Game 7. A 6-1 Game 7. Can you believe that? They secured a berth in the Memmer, which will start Monday in St. John, New Brunswick. Besides Hamilton, joining them at the Memorial Cup are the Edmonton Oil Kings, the Shawinigan Cataract, and the host St. John Sea Dogs. I'll say again, Moose, when I was a child, I used to VCR tape hockey games to watch in the summertime. And this summer, I don't even have to do it because they're playing in the summer. How about that? Yeah, it's so great.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. By the way, our hockey coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Oh, they're so excited they're at Bronco. I watch their Instagram stories, and I see what they're posting, the staff there, which, incidentally, they are hiring for almost all positions as well. Big Avs fans of Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. And this portion of the warm-up brought to you by Cavendish Farms, proud supporters of junior hockey in Canada. To point 3, Vladimir Guerrero hit his 16th homer, then singled home the winning run in the 10th that lifted the Toronto Blue Jays over the Baltimore Orioles 7-6 last night. The Blue Jays and Orioles wrap up their 4-game series today. 3:10 first pitch at Rogers Center. Righty Kevin Gausman will be on the mound for Toronto. Righty Tyler Wells will go for Baltimore. Are you okay with this, Moose? If they do it in America, I think we can do it. They're not even going to talk about the Marlins until July, August. I'm kind of feeling that way about the Blue Jays. How about you?
I'm there too. Like I check, I see that they win, I get the notifications, but it's going to take some time before I'm really into this, if that makes sense.
Hey, for years, up until 2015, I didn't even check the scores until August. And for a 20-year window there, they were never in contention. Like, never. So I think the fact that we're catching to see whether they won or lost is a really big thing in our world in May and June. So moving on to what a lot of our viewers have actually tuned in for. And that is the CFL talk. I talked to some staff members of teams around the league today. They're all buzzing. They all love the show, Moose. So linebacker Simone Lawrence of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the East Division's top defensive performer last season, was among 3 players fined by the CFL on Wednesday for high hits in games last week. We all know Simone Lawrence was penalized for a high hit on Saskatchewan quarterback Cody Fajardo in the Riders' 30-13 home win over the Ticats on Saturday night. I don't think there's anybody on God's green earth that didn't think he was going to get fined. Maybe if Cody had been hurt, there might have been a suspension, but it's already Thursday, and I almost feel like there's no point spending a whole lot of time on this because it's game night tonight. Week 2 opens. It's interesting, by the way, that maybe you saw Dave Naylor. Maybe you didn't. He tweeted that Simone had been fined, and Naylor, the TSN insider, and Simone replied and said, "Oh, news to me. How much is it?" Should they notify the players before they send out the news release? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Probably should. But that's funny. And Naylor had been tagging Simone in tweets earlier in the week saying it's like a guarantee he'll be fined. So, I mean, this news is nothing more than a formality, apparently. We knew all week he was going to get fined, but maybe Simone's having fun with it. Maybe he's not. I'm not sure, but he'll pay the ticket.
Well, having said all that, Simone stood before the media on Wednesday at Tim Hortons Field and said that he's not apologizing for the way he plays. He's not going to change the way he plays. I think he views these fines as merely a speeding ticket. I would assume as a 10-year veteran, reigning East Division Player of the Year, that probably well-paid guy, he's not interested in changing his style of play. I don't even really have an opinion on this anymore. A lot of the coaches will tell you they'd love to have a Simone Lawrence on their team. I came around on Matthew Tkachuk, which I never thought I would, but we spent almost 3 months in Calgary this spring, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why they love this guy so much. Maybe it's the same thing with Simone Lawrence. You've coached football. Would you have him on your team?
Yeah, for sure. He's one of the best players we've ever seen at that position in the Canadian Football League, ever. I mean, obviously, you want to keep it within the lines, but If you can keep him right close to the line where he's very aggressive and not taking off quarterbacks' heads, that's what you want. But no, I wouldn't want him. I would take him on my team for sure.
Yeah. Like I say, if you're a quarterback and Simone Lawrence is on the field, sorry about your luck, because he's going to try to take your head off and not apologize. I mean, as a quarterback, and I don't think you played that position, but are you thinking about Simone Lawrence on the field? I would assume he's the kind of player that you always want to know where he is on the field.
Always. The NFL had Ray Lewis, and quarterbacks knew where he was.
Yeah. And
if you didn't know where he was, he let you know where he was with his mouth or with his actions, right? So I think Simone's the same way. One of those guys who just jump off the page defensively, and you need to pay attention to where he is on the field at all times.
Just checking in from Jack Fulton. Good morning from sunny, wet Southern Alberta. Ryan McCarthy, good day to the Rod Squad from overcast Saratoga, New York. Mandy in Edmonton says good morning from rainy Salt Spring Island. That's out on Vancouver Island, I believe. Jennifer from the Four Seasons. Hopefully the Avs have learned to not take their foot off the gas. Well, if you can survive a scary lesson like that, then good on them. Wayne makes a good point. Wayne in Victoria, BC, says it's a 182-game season in baseball. So, yeah, I agree with you. Not much talking baseball, not much use until September, October. That's maybe true. I'm going to say it again. You've heard me say it how many times? You wouldn't even know there's a Major League Baseball team here. They never talk about the Marlins at all. And as we move to tonight's CFL game, you're probably going to see a lot of empty seats in Toronto. You just are. I mean, I like those Argos guys a lot. I don't know what it's going to take, and I hope they shock the hell out of me tonight and they sell the place out, but I'm not hearing that they're going to. So empty seats at BMO Field is not a problem indigenous to the CFL. They have it here in Miami with baseball. They have it in Arizona with hockey. You know what I mean? It's not a CFL thing. It's a city-by-city thing. By the way, this portion of the show brought to you by Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. I could rant, too, if you want. And taco time. They're not tater tots. They're Mexi fries. And I'll believe it, Moose, if we get them in the same room at the same time, because I'm still not sold that Mexi fries aren't anything different than tater. But I feel that Mexi fries are less greasy. I feel like that'll be one of the first things that we investigate when I get back to Canada this weekend. I got golf coming up, too. That's point 6. But point 5, the Montreal Alouettes visit Toronto tonight. Facing the Argos as the week 2 in the CFL kicks off. Alouettes coming off a 3-point loss at Calgary last week. The Argos were on a bye last week. Coming up, I've got the betting lines from Bet Regal. We are going to play Deal or No Deal. We'll tell you who our favorite and exclusive betting company thinks will win CFL games this week. When we come back, as I mentioned, the U.S. Open teeing off today. Barry Trotz, I see, turned down a $7 million per year contract with the Flyers. If that's to be believed, we can talk about all that too. So we're just getting warmed up in the warm-up. You're watching the RP Show on YouTube Live only today and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Number 16. A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends.
at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show, brought to you in part by Taco Time. Real food, real value, real flavor. A reminder coming up later this hour, Taco Time viewer takeovers. We're switching things up a little bit, putting a pause on the warm-up, and we'll get to the Canadian Football League betting lines for Week 2 coming up, as well as Day 1 of the U.S. Open. The Stanley Cup Open on Wednesday night. We're loving the summer hockey, and the Colorado Avalanche needed overtime to dispose of the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3. At Ball Arena. Mark Moser is the television voice of the Avalanche on the Altitude Sports Network. He joins us here today to talk about the Avs being up one game tonight. Mark, appreciate the time, my man. Welcome to the program. Loving the lid. Let me ask you, how much were you sweating last night? Yes, sir, when that 3-1 lead evaporated and it went over extra time.
A little bit because, Rod, I mean, I think when you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, you have to respect the two-time champions. This team never quits. And they're not bothered by anything. So you know they're going to make a push. But what this Avalanche team has shown a tremendous propensity to do this postseason and even during the regular season, Rod, is they counterpunch very well. And you saw that in that third period, too. The thrust came from the Avs. They outshot the Lightning 12-5. And I think right now, like, I'm nervous, but I'm not sure the team is nervous because what they've done is just followed the formula and followed their own instincts and their own belief that they've had all season long, and they come on back and they find a way to get it done. And I think that's the biggest difference between perhaps past Avalanche teams and this team. They're not worried about things, and they're not worried about giving up leads because they know they're more than capable of finishing it off. And fortunately for them, they did in overtime last night in game number 1.
It looked unbelievable on television in terms of the atmosphere in the Loud House. I think it's not just a nickname. What was it like in the barn last night?
Hard to even hear, to be honest with you. I was actually doing the NHL international broadcast with Kevin Weeks. I was filling in for EJ Radick last night, and there were times when I had to turn the volume up on my little headset controller just to be able to hear the producer and hear what was going on and hear Kevin because it was so loud in that building. And I know that there are a lot of fan bases around the league that have waited a long time for a Stanley Cup championship or even the opportunity to play for a Stanley Cup. And it's been 21 years here in Denver. So these fans are making the most of the opportunity. And it was incredibly loud. As you can imagine, standing room only, the entire building. You've got tens of thousands of fans outside the building as well, watching on big screens. And it was amazing. I mean, it really was. If the Avs had scored the third goal in that first period of play, I think the roof would have come off the place. Tampa gets one back and then eventually ended up tying that game. But you could just feel the energy amongst the crowd. It was really, really, really very exciting.
I was waiting for a notification to come over my phone from whether it be TSN or ESPN or NHL who the starting goalie was going to be for the Avs in Game 1. And I didn't get that notification, but I went right up until game day that Darcy Kemper did start. Do you think Jared knew way back last week who it would be, or was it this tough of a decision for him?
Well, we had him on the show this morning, on my morning radio show here in Denver. We talked to the coach every single week, and he said, yeah, it was going to be Darcy. I think that if you have a number one, and he's your number one for a reason, you go with that number one goaltender. And Darcy Kemper is 100% healthy. At least that's what the coach says. And so I don't think there was any doubt that he was going to get the opportunity in game number one. And it's not like Jared Bednar and the team doesn't have confidence in Pavel Francouz, because he's done it not once but twice this postseason, coming in relief of Darcy Kemper and played pretty well. I mean, he's got 6 wins this postseason. But Darcy is the guy. And when he's on top of his game, and we saw it from really January 1 all the way through toward the postseason, he's very, very good. So he doesn't have to be Andre Vasilevsky on the other side. He just has to be Darcy Kemper. And he made some timely saves last night, gave his team an opportunity to win. And that's all you can ask for, I think, if you're Jared Bednar. But I had no doubt in my mind. When I looked at Darcy Kemper and I saw that where he was in practice, how he looked, being pronounced physically fit, I knew he was going to get the start. In my heart of hearts, even if Jared Bednar did not want to share it with the world.
I got to tell you that one of my longtime friends is Wade Klippenstein, the head scout for the Avalanche, and I saw him at some games in Canada this year. And while they are acknowledged as the most talented team in the NHL, that wasn't enough for Wade, or I think the Avs. You need to prove it, and they have. How have they gone about getting 100% effort out of that group? Because it's easier said than done. I'm talking about all year long.
I think you're right. But to me, Rod, it's a lot of pain. You've got to go through a lot of pain, I think, sometimes in order to appreciate where you are and then what it really takes to accomplish the ultimate. And they've heard the stories and they've heard the whispers, and maybe even more than that, around the last several years about the inability to win in round number 2 and advance on to a West Final. And I think that the preceding years before last year, there were very much extenuating circumstances. Big-time injuries. They lost 9 guys in the bubble. You're on your backup goalie or your third-string goalie in some instances. Last year was the real killer. They had that series against the Vegas Golden Knights and had them down 2-0 and then lost 4 straight. And I think that for every guy in that room, it just ate at them. And I think they collectively said, this is not going to happen anymore. There's a really good core leadership group with this team, and a lot of great guys on that squad. And then, Rod, you've got to credit Joe Sakic and the moves that he's made. Again, you're adding pieces year after year, but then you get down to the trade deadline this year. Josh Manson comes in a little bit early. You add an Andrew Cogliano, who's obviously hurt right now, but a veteran who's been terrific. And, of course, the deal for Arturi Lehkonen, who's been very, very key for this Avs squad this postseason, and gives them a lot of maneuvering, if you will, on where he plays or how the lines will look, because he's so good with everybody. So Joe Sakic deserves a lot of credit for putting the right pieces in the right spot for the squad to give them the opportunity to get here. And then there's so much talent out there on the ice and so much determination and poise right now that this is the result of all of those things kind of coming together.
Well, I'm not sure if producer Clark told you, while I'm in South Florida, we spend the other half of the year in Alberta and Western Canada with this program. And Joe Sakic, talking about a guy that's a mythical figure in Western Canada, and on his way to that status is Cale Makar. Tell us something about Cale Makar. He is like the face of the Alberta Junior Hockey League now in the Brooks Bandits and Calgary, too. He's our Cale. What do you love about this guy, besides the obvious?
I love his attitude. Honestly, Rod, when he first came in, I mean, when he came out of college into that first game against the Flames, you remember back in the postseason, he was a pro then. He behaved like a pro. He took everything incredibly seriously. his mental makeup, his calmness, and his vision and his focus, to me, is just incredible for a young man who's only 23 years old. So I think he was mature beyond his years when he came into the NHL, and then watching his game grow. We know the skating, we know the puck handling, we know the shots, we know everything else. I didn't realize when he first came in, Rod, what a good hitter he is. When he wants to put his shoulder right in your chest and knock you flat on your back, he's able to do that. I guess I didn't know how good defensively he was. It was on display. This is years ago, but it's on display, his growth even. In the poke check of McDavid in the Edmonton series, where he picks up McDavid at full speed, but he's going backwards through the neutral zone, turns around in his own end with the poke check. He's just an all-around superstar defenseman at this point. And it's weird because when we put up our graphics during the course of any game, and if we're talking about Cale Makar, and we want to specifically focus on some things that he's done, when you start looking at points per game in the postseason, plus minus and time on it, I mean, all these different, analytics you can bring up. When you start to see the names of all time that are slotted by him, it's now the Bobby Orrs, it's the Pavet, it's the Chelios, it's the Coffees, it's the Leaches, and you're like, these are hockey immortality type guys on the back end, and already he seems to be right there with them. So he's really that impressive.
Well, I think wonderful answer. And another guy in that is Paul Coffey. You see Cale's name being mentioned besides dropping some of his records, some of Koff's records, by the way. But I can tell, Mark, you've been around. You remember the name Bernie Nichols, and he put a check mark beside Tampa's defense in this series. He gave Tampa check marks in goaltending, defense, and coaching. And I had a coach write me, and he said he didn't agree with that. And he said coaching doesn't even matter when you get to the Stanley Cup Final. And I wonder your take on that. He said the players will decide this, not X's and O's and even pep talks. How would you respond to that?
And that's interesting. I think there are little things in the course of a game. I mean, Jared Bednar last night on the game-winning goal, because the Avs had a power play, he threw out Nichushkin, Comfer, and Burakovsky together. And honestly, Rod, I can't remember ever, and I mean ever, seeing these guys even play one shift together in the National Hockey League. But Bednar threw them out there, so maybe that's the hunch that can come through when it comes to coaching. As far as on the ice goes, I think it's right. The players are going to decide it. When it comes to Tampa's D-core, Rod, they're absolutely huge. I mean, they're gigantic. And you're thinking to yourself, how do you get through those big fellas back there? And not only are they all big, and Ryan McDonough is the smallest guy at 6'1" and 220, whatever he is, but they've all got the long reach and so on. Well, what they don't have, though, what the Avs have, is they've got the Avs defensemen, they activate and they help lead the charge. And that's why this offense is so potent. You can look at all the forward group and say, wow, your McKinnons and Landeskog's and Rantanens and the Chushkins and Kadri when he's healthy, Burakovs. I mean, Lehkonen, all these different guys. I can go through all 12 skaters on the ice up front. But it's the defensive core that activates so effectively that makes them so dangerous. And Makar leads the way in that, but it's also Taves. It's also the rookie Bowen Byram, who is growing before our very eyes. It's Eric Johnson, heck, Josh Manson, with some big goals this postseason. So they have, on the defensive side for the Avs, it's much more active in that way, but it's way more consistent, and it's constantly attacking you from their own end. So in terms of the better blue line, I don't know. I mean, the Lightning have a big, experienced Studley blue line led by a Norris Trophy winner, but the Avs right now have young legs that love to attack, and it's got to be difficult to try to slow that down.
Mark, I could talk hockey with you all day, but I know you're a busy guy, so I'll only ask you one more. I think they say Game 3 is always the swing game or the biggest game in a best of 7, but I feel like Game 2 might be that in this series, right? At Ball Arena on Saturday, because I don't think you want to go to Tampa 1-1. Like, your thoughts on Saturday's Game 2 and how much it looms and how big it is?
I think it's really big. And I guess I would look back and say, well, the Avs are unbeaten around on the road this postseason. They haven't lost a game on the road in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, I mean, we were talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're talking about a team and led by, and this is where Bernie's correct. I mean, Vasilevsky's the best goalie on planet Earth. I think everybody, either he's one or two, but I think the vast majority would say he's one. So if you think you're going to walk into Tampa and try to take out the two-time defending champions and knock them out twice in their own building. No, you're just not going to do that. I mean, you have to be realistic about who you're playing, and they're awesome. And they know how to win in every kind of situation, and they've proven it, 3 years in a row, and they've gotten back to the final here in the third year. So I think game number 2 is absolutely critical. And look, I mean, you look at the last series, the Lightning go down 2-0 to the Rangers. Oh, ho-hum, win 4 straight. I mean, they had to scratch it out in game 3, but once they won that game, they shut everything down. So I think if you're the Avalanche, you go for broke on the home ice tomorrow night. Utilize that crowd, utilize that energy, and do all you can to get up on the Lightning 2-0 because they don't get in a hole often, and when they do, they can easily dig themselves out. But put yourself in a very, very winnable situation if you can get it done tomorrow night. But again, Vasilevsky's ability to rebound and forget about games is unprecedented. So here we go. It's going to be an awesome one at Ball Arena.
Yeah, can't wait for it. Mark, longtime fan of your work here. I love your call. I'll let you get back to work, but thanks for the time today, and go Avs, man. Hopefully they bring it home.
Hey, look at you in South Florida. I'm so jealous. I see you in your polo. You're hanging out. You got the palm trees behind you. That looks pretty awesome. In fact, give me a couple of weeks and maybe I'll join you. How's that sound?
I'll be here. You bet. All right. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you. Mark Moser, the TV voice of the Colorado Avalanche from Altitude Sports Network. And hey, no complaints here, but enjoying watching hockey every night on ESPN and also TNT. Although I have to say, last night I was a little worried. Flipped it over to ESPN and there was no Stanley Cup. I thought they were streaming on ESPN Plus, and then I find out it's on ABC. All of America got it. I'll be interested to see the ratings on that one. Look, we may have Moose when we come back. We may not. Maybe we'll play Deal or No Deal with you, the viewers, as we turn our attention to Week 2 in the Canadian Football League. It kicks off tonight. I do want to talk a little golf. We will return to South Florida in a moment with the RP Show. It is episode number 780. Of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show on Game Plus Television, YouTube live streaming, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the RP Show. And, we're a little out of order today, but it's okay because of the guests that we've had. Everybody loving Mark Moser, our last segment. Normally it would have been Moose, right? And here, trying to get a hold of Amanda Ruller from the Seattle Seahawks, but she's dealing with Wi-Fi issues in Seattle with the Seahawks and their mini camp. So hopefully we can get to her. If not, I'm cool with viewer takeover now and sports update. I do want to talk about the CEBL, but DG in Saskatoon watching says, morning guys, I really enjoyed game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I think Colorado will need to steal one in Tampa to ultimately win this series, but winning at home is key too. And he says, was cool to hear Alan Roach, the announcer of the last 15 Super Bowls, doing his regular duties as PA announcer for the Avalanche. His voice screams, big game, and it gave me chills. Enjoy the series, says DG in Saskatoon. I wondered where I knew that voice from. Every Super Bowl, Alan Roach, right. I've gotten to be good friends with Andrew Imber down here, a voice of the Florida Panthers, and even he would agree. That's a big voice on Alan Roach. Oof, those guys are good. Brady, also watching in Saskatoon, writes in, says, hey, Rod, Avs are looking great. They've continued to show how dominant, fast, and aggressive they are in the offensive zone and their balanced play on the back end. Golden State Warriors are going to win it in 6 tonight, making my prediction true. Steph will win Finals MVP. Looking forward to it. Indeed, it's 9 p.m. Eastern in Boston. And this is something I want to ask Darren or you, the viewers. How come we're not hearing about travel at all in the NBA Finals? They're literally going from Boston to San Francisco back and forth. Now, a lot of time in between games, for sure. But this travel's made so much of, particularly in football, not as much in hockey, but not at all in the NBA. Don't even hear about it unless I've missed something because I don't follow the coverage as closely. You tell me, Brady. And, similarly to, I say, I enjoy the junior hockey brand of hockey better than the NHL. That's not to say I don't love the NHL. Clearly I do, but I enjoy going to a junior hockey game because I enjoy the mistakes, the lack of perfection. I like the Canadian Elite Basketball League better than the NBA by a lot. So there were a lot of games last night in the CEBL. The Scarborough Shooting Stars rode a hot shooting game to a 99-83 road win over the Saskatchewan Rattlers at SaskTel Center. The Moose was there. Were you, Brady? I heard it was a big crowd. The Shooting Stars have won 4 of their last 5. Rattlers have lost 3 of their last 4. Now, what's the Raptors' name? I'm not the biggest rap guy. Clark, what's the rat? J. Cole, thank you. J. Cole. So he's not with the Shooting Stars anymore, and I wonder, was the reason for that big crowd at SaskTel Center because they thought J. Cole was going to be there? Because Moose tells me he's pulled the pin already. He went on tour. And there's some people claiming skullduggery, that this was a gimmick. I'd say it worked. I don't have any issues with that. He's got to go on tour. You got to work. Okay? So I feel like we're going to push Deal or No Deal with the CFL into hour 2, which I know you're going to hang around for anyways. We're just kind of running out of time. The Fraser Valley Bandits picked up a narrow 84-81 victory on the road against their rivals out of Edmonton last night at the Expo Center in Edmonton. It's Fraser Valley's first win over the Stingers since July of 2020 and just their second all-time. And the Niagara River Lions withstood a Montreal Alliance comeback and made a late run to win 76-64 on the road. The River Lions now 5-3. The expansion Montreal Alliance 3-4. It was Niagara's second straight win over Montreal, having beaten them at home earlier this season. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. And man, we can get into that CFL thing. I'm going to give you the betting lines right now, and I'll give you my bets for Bet Regal, and then we'll get Moose's next hour. He's a little bit better at wagering than me. I think he does it more than me. But if you go to betregal.net right now or betregal.ca, either or, bet.net is the free play, but at .ca you can sign up, get an account, use the hashtag or the promo code LEGENDS or RP22, and you'll get $3 deposited in your account by Bet Regal. So do that today, and why not make week 2 in the CFL your first foray into sports wagering? But here's the betting lines from Bet Regal for the Canadian Football League week 2. Beginning with tonight, Montreal at Toronto. I'm going to take the Argos to win. They've been sitting. This is their season opener, home opener, season opener. Argos favored by 3.5. I'll take that bet. Friday night, it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Ottawa Red Blacks, and it's Bombers favored by 2.5, and I'm not taking it. I think Ottawa's going to win the game at home. Everybody's raging about how good they played at Winnipeg last Friday night, despite a loss. What do you got, Clark? No, if you're confident, we'll go with her now. If you're confident that okay, pause that. We'll come back for the rest of the betting lines next segment because we got Amanda now. I assume she's busy from the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Program for the Seattle Seahawks. She's outside. Amanda, you little trickster. Congratulations on the Seahawks appointment. Man, I don't know where to go with it. How's it going?
Oh, it's so amazing. As soon as I stepped inside the building, Coach Carroll welcomed me in. We actually did a basketball, one of my running backs, Travis Homer. So I was instantly welcomed in, feeling the love. The culture here is so great. Everyone wants you to be yourself. And as if you know me, and I know you guys do, I'm all about just being myself, being loud and proud about what I do and my passion. I'm loving it.
Oh, good. Well, oh, man, if anybody deserves it, it's you, Amanda. And I won't keep you long because, like I said, I know you're busy. I've heard that about the Seahawks vibe. You got to say hey to my guy KJ down there, who you know. Hey, there you go. Oh, Seattle's so beautiful, the Emerald City. But listen,
I will.
Above all else, tell the folks how you landed this.
I will for sure. So for me, like I've applied for tons of NFL opportunities in the past. And I just wasn't getting through. So I took it upon myself to actually go to the NFL Combine this year. I got a media pass because I was working with Sports Illustrated. I reached out to them. I said, can I come on behalf of you? And I used that to meet people and coaches and GMs and get in front of them. And that's networking. It's not all about who you know, it's who knows you. There, I got approached by the Seahawks. They took my resume. I got through some interviews with them and got the call to come down to the facility and made it happen and got the Bill Walsh Diversity in Coaching Fellowship.
Again, I can't wait to see you again and tell me more all about it. But what is filling your days right now? What do they got you doing here? And I assume it's in minicamp.
Yeah, actually, we just finished our OTAs and our mini camp. So we had a little passing camp this week just to finish everything up. The athletes are taking off for a bit. Then we're getting into training camp come mid-July. So I'm really excited for that. So my days are filled with I'm the assistant running backs coach working with Chad Morton, who is the running backs coach here. So I get to do everything from plan indie sessions, which is just the individual sessions with the running back. I get to run that session. I'm even hanging out in the weight room here, learning what they do for their weight room activities so I can learn even more. I'm doing tagging on DV Sports, so cutting down film, doing all the behind the scenes work that a lot of people do. I was working with your friend KJ there. He's showing me the ropes, how to draw more pictures on Vizio, be very helpful so I can be successful in this industry. And that's definitely what I'm about. And I got to do some interviews. I got to do my first presser here at the NFL press conference. I felt so good. It was great to be on some recognition. I put in the hard work, and it's all about putting in the hard work, but having a little fun along the way.
That's what it's all about. And I saw the photo of you at the podium. I'm so proud of you. If anybody deserves it, it's you. NFL now, CFL, U Sports. And, of course, with the weightlifting, you can teach those guys a thing or two now. Listen, I'm going to let you go. Tell KJ I said what's up, and we'll see you when you get home.
Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks, guys.
The great Seahawks assistant running backs coach, Amanda Ruller. How about that? What a story. We will be back with Viewer Takeover, and then Moose in hour 2, and we'll finish up on these CFL betting lines. We'll return in a moment. You're watching the RP Show only on YouTube Live today. And, of course, 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you could be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, man, winding up our time in South Florida, but we will be back, heading back to Canada this weekend, and Monday we'll be broadcasting live from the Rocky Mountain Rotary Classic Golf Classic in Bears Paw in Calgary. It's going to be fantastic. Join us for that. We'll be back on Game Plus Television Live, and then at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino the rest of the week. By the way, our viewers really loved the interview with Amanda Ruller, and what a story there. I mean, obviously it's going great for us. It's going great for her. Interesting parallel roads in a way, and it's just so refreshing to see hard work pay off and for good people. My cousin Christine watching in Medicine Hat. She says, I'll be cheering for the Seahawks. That's the thing. You cheer for the personalities in a way, or at least I do. Brady in Saskatoon writes in, says, yo, there's my assistant running backs coach. I hope the Hawks see what you bring and keep you on staff. Hopefully you can be a part of leading the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. Go Hawks. And regarding, I got to get into this next hour more with Moose. This is going to be fun. It always is. But Brady says, I was there last night for the Rattlers game. I believe everyone there wanted to see J. Cole. And he says, I believe every NBA Finals game being within 2 days makes travel less hard on the players. Probably you're right. I'm just saying so much is made of travel, and nothing's been made of travel in the NBA Finals. Haven't heard much in the Stanley Cup either, really. Oh, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says they say imitation is the highest form of flattery. The Toronto Stampeders open their season tonight. Oh, they're all upset that the Argos are built on former Stampeders. It happens. Tim Manto says, what are the CFL power rankings this week? We did address it the other day. I don't agree with hardly any of them, so I'm not really going to get into it here, although we can next hour if you want. Clark, if you wouldn't mind opening up the 902 text line. If there's a text in there from Kristen in Winnipeg. She's been watching on Game Plus TV. Just a few texts down. If you want to save that, we could throw it up next hour. Marty York. Man, what do we say about Marty York? Famed football reporter with the Globe and Mail, TSN, Sportsnet. Marty York writing on Twitter. And by the way, we're coming up with the last minute of play in hour one. Last minute of play in hour one. Marty York. You can follow him on Twitter, at Marty York. He says, I'm looking forward to the Argos opener. This organization deserves so much more publicity and hype than it's getting. It's ridiculous how underappreciated the Argos are in Toronto. They're the most entertaining pro team in town, and they play in the most entertaining league in existence. Hashtag CFL. That from Marty. I don't know. How are we on the complaining about lack of profile for the Argos in Toronto? I was over it 2 years ago. Are we going to continue to go down that? Or just watch the game tonight? I feel like the complaining about the lack of publicity doesn't make people want to go to the games, but I don't know. We're going to get into it all with Moose and this publicity stunt by the CEBL after this break. Stick around, everybody.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Now, here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
How about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's meh. That's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think, I want to make you feel something, and it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of the Rod Pedersen Show. And if you are just tuning in, it's been a blast. We can here exhale a little bit in Hour 2. We've got most of the guests out of the way. We had Mark Moser in Hour 1, the TV voice of the Colorado Avalanche, and I feel like we really bonded. I've never talked to him before. He's my kind of dude. Wearing an Avalanche cap, for God's sakes. That's the American thing when the play-by-play guys wear their team's paraphernalia. In Canada, you get hung in effigy for that, burned at the stake. My kind of guy. And then Amanda Ruller, what a story. Her now on the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff, and it sounds like she's going to be there a while. Let's bring in the Moose, because I've known Amanda a long time. Darren, a very close friend of Amanda's too, maybe closer friend than I am with her. And I've been close friends with her. Man, I'm so proud of her, Darren. And, you know why she went to the NFL Combine and didn't tell anybody. You know why. And knocked on doors and shook hands. She didn't want anybody to find out or anybody to ruin it. And it worked. Man, she looks happy down there in Seattle.
Crushing it. And that's what you want, right? You want to see other people have success. And I think it's just amazing seeing what she's able to do.
Yeah, well, and the main thing is, I don't know what other people's goals are in this business, but yours and mine are pretty much the same, and that is to be happy and have fun. That's about it. And the wonderful thing is, nobody can head us off at the pass or ruin our plans because we don't know where we're going either next. That's the fun thing, which, that's the truth. Maybe a couple months anyways. But one of the viewers wrote in, and I apologize, I can't remember whom it was. Oh, it was Daryl in Sherwood Park, Alberta. And he wanted to know, he's so excited to hear about the sports trip. And again, these are kind of the things that I leave to you. Not really my deal. I just kind of go where I'm told. It works out for us. Don't ask, people. But I get the sense, like I thought it was it was going to be LA, but I get the sense that it's not necessarily LA.
Well, it's not necessarily. I mean, I would, if I'm at Bet Regal putting odds on our trip, that's where I would put the betting favorite. It's the most juicy destination with the most possibilities. But until we get the confirmation that we're going to be able to accommodate the National Football League, the NHL, and others, maybe the NBA, we'll see. Then we'll get it on sale.
Well, the NHL schedule isn't out yet, right? So it'll take a while. Ryan is watching in Toronto. He says it'll be fun to follow the Amanda Ruller storyline this NFL season. For sure. We covered a lot of NHL last hour. For the CFL fans that are tuning in as the kickoff to week 2, let's do it. I've been teasing it. I've been pushing it. And I actually got interrupted halfway through my deal or no deal. I was playing it with myself, Darren. Now I'm going to bring you in. This is fun. Week 2. Montreal at Toronto. The Argos are favored by 3.5, and I'm taking that bet at BMO Field at betregal.ca. Are you? Argos 3.5 or more to beat Montreal tonight.
I'm not taking it. I'm on the Owls back-to-back weeks, so I'll take Montreal.
How about that? Well, you were right. You were right with your pick last week. Winnipeg at Ottawa on Friday night. The Blue Bombers are favored by 2.5, and I said I'm not taking it. I think Ottawa's not only going to beat the spread, I think they're going to win the game outright at TD Place Friday night. But can't speak for you. What's your take on that game?
How's Zach Collaros? I assume he's okay. So if he's fine, I'll take Winnipeg. I think it was a bit of a wake-up call for Winnipeg. I'll take the Bombers.
Last I heard was that Zach said, I'm okay, to friends and family after the game outside the locker room for the Bombers. Saturday doubleheader, Calgary at Hamilton, the Hall of Fame game. Tiger Cats are favored by the slimmest of margins, a point. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal. Yeah, I'll take the deal. I'll take Hamilton.
Why?
I think they're more of a championship-ready team. I think both teams had a really bad opening week. That's why the spread's so tight. And I just think they're the team that's closest to turning it around the fastest.
Okay. Well, I think there's a lot of pressure on Hamilton for their showing last week in Saskatchewan. That's my biggest reason why I'll go along with you and take that bet from Bet Regal Ticats to win by 1 or more over the Calgary Stampeders. And finally, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the Edmonton Elk. And I'll be landing in Calgary in time to watch this game. I'm excited to watch it on television, obviously on TSN. Going up against Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. I can't think the CFL would like that. But the Roughriders are favored by 7.5. The Roughriders are favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
It's a tough one, because you think that Edmonton's going to be better, but how much better? I'll take the deal. I'll take Saskatchewan to cover.
I'm with you. I talked to Elk staff today, and that big-time loss at Vancouver last week, it hurt him. It knocked him against the ropes. Yeah. And it's sort of like, how are you going to respond? Right? As they say, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. I love that phrase. It's my guy Luke Mullender's favorite phrase. Okay, Edmonton, you don't have what you thought you had. How do you come out? And they're facing this team that the pundits are very bullish on, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, first or second in whomever's power rankings you favor. It's not a good matchup for the Elks in week 2. John Kirby watching at Edmonton. He says, deal, Edmonton wins, and no deal, Saskatchewan loses. Somebody had asked Tim Manto on YouTube last hour saying, what are the power rankings this week? Clark dug them out. I thank Kristen in Winnipeg for sending them to us via the 902 text line. If you want to throw them up, Clark, that would be great. This is from CFL.ca. I don't agree with much of it. I do agree with Winnipeg being number 1, of course. Roughriders went up to number 2. There's no reason to think that they're not at least the second best team in the league. Argos are the third best team. They didn't even play. Hamilton dropped the spot to 4th, despite, with their loss at Sask. Ottawa lost, but climbed to 5th. Okay. The BC Lions climbed to 6th by virtue of their huge win over Edmonton. Calgary won but dropped to 7th. Okay. Montreal dropped to 8th. And then Edmonton, they're 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, getting spanked at BC Place last week. By the way, I read an article here. By the way, Arlen Bruce III watching. Hey, AB. He says the Elks had 0 wins at home last season, so the country will be watching. Oh, I know. I get it. From the Barflies, they're watching on YouTube and say, with the work stoppage drama, a lot of teams are still playing preseason ball. Oh, yeah, well, hey, man, we're early on in this whole thing, and it's week 2, but you have to understand, you, the football people, you go do what you do. You coach them up. You have great practices, draw up a great game plan. You leave what we do up to us. I'm not saying you specifically, AB3, but we're going to talk about, Darren, the drama. And guys, do you think the owners care that maybe they got a late start and some practices were missed? They don't care. They're not real nice guys, I don't think. Although I think Gary Stern seems cool. He's all over Twitter today promoting tonight's Argos Alouettes game. Amar Doman in Vancouver, if I'm saying that right. Cool dude. No doubt. Coaches don't care. Leave the talking to us. You guys just go play ball. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're not, I think for the most part, they're not paying attention to it. Not a big deal. They just want to go out and play. Simple.
Who do you think's not paying attention to it? Because I believe they are paying attention to it.
Well, I mean, you talk about late starts and caring if they're on the field or not. I mean, I don't know how much time they spend looking backward, is the point. They're here now. So they just want to get, look at the week that's in front of them, right? Yeah, stuff that we say on the air might show up on their desk and they may or may not pay attention to it. But, at this point, worrying about what's happened in the past is a waste of time.
That's the winner's mentality. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm also saying not everybody looks at it that way. And just John in Edmonton says, Rod, why don't you just come to Edmonton and buy a ticket to the game on Saturday? You're not needed in Calgary till Monday because, John, I don't get to Calgary until 8 p.m. Be pretty hard to jump in a car and drive to Edmonton. And I have the perfect flight, by the way. I don't leave Orlando till 5:45 p.m. and it's straight shot to Calgary, not have to go through Toronto and pull the Ryan Whitney and be stranded there for a day or two. When I was coming back to Florida, Darren, I didn't even tell you this. I was in the Toronto airport, and I walked by a ticket gate, and the lady was on the mic, weary, upset travelers standing there hanging on her every word. And she's like, I'm sorry, we might be able to get you to London, Ontario tomorrow, but probably not, maybe Tuesday. And this was on and they're just like, I don't know. I don't want to assign blame. I'm just avoiding it. As I said to my guy, Brian, today, the mayor of Dodge City, he asked me if I was going through Toronto. I'm like, I avoid it at all costs. Flying out of Orlando to get to Calgary direct to not have to go through Toronto. So thank you, John, for caring. Tacona Powley in Winnipeg says, Caleros is good to go, and the Blue will be much better in the win. I knew the CFL fans. We're excited about this portion of the show. It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way, and we are all on the right track. I mean, the Alberta fans are enjoying this show. There's it's why it was so great to see Amanda coming on last hour and see her crushing it and see what she did, what she set out to do. Because there's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of haters. Any successful person has them. I said to you the other day, there's people trying to get up us. New haters, Darren. Not the same old. We got new ones. And I'm like, the more success we have, the more our brand grows, the more haters we're going to have. And I think that people have to look at my smiling, sunny, tan face and look at your sunny, tan face that needs a haircut and go, these guys are really, really happy. You got to deal with it. And when I leave Florida this weekend, I'm going to Alberta. That's where we're going to be doing the show from, and it's going to be great at Grey Eagle. How much of a problem is it for the CFL, do you think, the Game 2 of the Stanley Cup is Saturday night, smack dab against the Riders and Elks?
It's an issue, for sure. I think it's an issue, but I think the Rider fans will watch. The Edmonton Elks fans will watch. And so I think the viewership numbers will be fine. I really do. I think there's enough of an audience that will watch both. But for sure, it's always going to be an issue when the Stanley Cup Final's on.
I knew that this would just be a fun sesh of sports talk when you returned. Todd Pinks writes in, one of our P1s. He says, going to Florida is amazing, but if it's not direct, it's the biggest cluster F ever. It can be. But Darren's counseled me on some of these sessions where you say, just imagine how great it'll be when you get. The journey can be a little bumpy, but just think about the destination. If that isn't a microcosm for life, I don't know what is. And back to the Rattlers thing that I said I was going to bring up with you. You said there was a good crowd last night for the Rattlers and the Scarborough Shooting Stars. And Brady, another one of our P1s, was there. And he said a lot of the people showed up to see J. Cole. So, and he wasn't there, not playing to the Shooting Stars anymore. So I don't really have a problem with what the CEBL did here, but just explain it if you don't mind, to your knowledge of this situation.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, his tour dates. You know, J. Cole signed with the Shooting Stars, but this tour was still there. So I think all along, like, I don't know how he expected or anybody expected him to play the whole year, but he started playing, played 4 games. That was it. I don't think it surprised a lot of people inside the league, but surprising the fans because they didn't know. And so the place was packed. It was a great crowd. It was full. The one thing I will say is, you know, I heard that on the concourse and talking to people, they're like, yeah, I bought tickets to see J. Cole, and he's not here, and that's kind of upsetting. But nobody left. They all had a good time. The atmosphere was good. So now, you hope that the teams do a good enough job with people in the building to entice them to come back. But no, it was good last night. And the J. Cole thing, yes, left some people upset, but it's got some spotlight on the league, which is a good thing.
Well, and that's why I wanted to get into that, and I'll just read a few comments from our viewers. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says, I bet the RP Show studio is covered in cobwebs right now. LOL. No, it's it. And this is why I've said to Darren, I feel like this is the last time I'll say it. I can't get on my knees and explain to every single freaking person what's going on, so I just decided to live my life and move on, and everybody will follow in line at some point. Clark and Jordan and Ryan and the IKS studio, they go in there every day. This show is being operated and produced out of the sweatpants capital. There are no cobwebs. But this is the direction of the show. Can we please get with it? But I can't sit and tell every single person on the planet, so I'm just going to do my thing. Eventually, they'll figure it out. From AB, Arlen Bruce, he says, your show definitely deserves an award. What can we call the award, guys? Maybe an Emmy? I don't know. We're now swinging in the territory of Canadian television shows, right? Gemini Award. I think we deserve a Gemini Award. For what? I don't know. And John in Edmonton, last comment I'll read from him today. CFL cannot predict that the NHL will be on Saturday. People need to get over that stuff. I couldn't agree more. But it is what it is. So we'll have to, we'll find out come Saturday night how many are in the seats at Commonwealth. I think it's going to be a good crowd. Or how many are watching the Stanley Cup Final on TV, because it's a hell of a series. We'll find out when the ratings come up. Moose, don't move. Everybody else will be right back. You're watching the RP Show. No Game Plus today. YouTube live streaming and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Capital, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders. Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Not sure if they're necessarily in mourning today here in Florida, but their Lightning did lose last night, and they trailed the Stanley Cup Final 1-0 following the Avs' 4-3 OT victory last night. Our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is, who was the biggest factor in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final on Wednesday night? Andre Burakovsky, who scored the OT winner, Gabriel Landeskog, the Colorado captain, had a goal and a helper, or Andre Vasilevsky, the goalie for Tampa, who had what I would think he would call an off night or other. I just checked the latest, and the Twitter results show that it is Landeskog, our viewers feel, was or at least the voters of our poll, had the biggest factor in Game 1. Game 2 goes Saturday night at Ball Arena in Denver. Trent Baruner is watching in Norway, Moose, as we bring the Moose back in. He says, Norway here. The Avalanche proved they could hold their own with Tampa Bay. Colorado's speed was the difference in overtime. That from Trent in Norway. And Pinks again writes in and says the men's national Summer 18 hockey team selection camp roster was just announced. Why is Connor Bedard not on it? But Tanner Howe is. It's because Connor will be invited to the under-18 roster. He'll be on that. Can't be on both. We went through that last year. From the Barflies on YouTube says, do you see a return of the tight end to the CFL? I would say not anytime soon. Name me one tight end in the CFL right now that's an impact player and a key part of an offense. I can't name one. Unless I'm out to lunch. Moose, how would you answer to that?
No, no, I can't see it.
No.
Don't have one, won't have one. I don't think so.
You see that my mind's going. I'm trying to just but what I can say and what I can't say. I had some interesting calls last night, Moose, that I didn't even tell you about from around the NHL, around the CFL, and even one NFL. Just background stuff, you know? But I'm not quite done on this, nor are the viewers. Viewer in Edmonton says it happened in Edmonton last Saturday. Fans thought J. Cole was going to be there. They bought tickets to go and see J. Cole. We need a couple things. We might win a Gemini, Moose, because I don't know what the category would be, but I've got people writing me now saying, Rod, you're a champion of Canadian sports. Keep up the good work. I'm like, this isn't new. These are people from all across the country. Darren, we're not doing anything new. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. We're not reinventing the wheel here.
Well, no, this is 780 episodes. We haven't changed a whole lot, except we used to talk a heck of a lot more Rough Riders in CFL. We've branched out into other leagues, but it's just we love sport and we love Canadian sports. So I gotta say, I want to speak for you, although I think I know your feelings on this. I'm with the CEBL and the Shooting Stars. There was all this ballyhoo, this expansion team that Drake's part owner of, going to bring in this big rapper, J. Cole, and all dude. I didn't know who he was, but it had me paying attention. So he played, what'd you say, 4 games?
I think so.
And then he left to go on tour. I know he's very popular, and he opened for Rihanna at SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, and now he's gone. So now fans across the country are buying tickets to watch the Shooting Stars play, and J. Cole's not there. And in a way, they feel duped. To me, you wanted to get on people's radar, because how many people, I get a lot, Darren, write me and say, I didn't even know there was a CEBL. I didn't even know what it was, except for your show and your coverage and your Twitter. Well, now you know. Maybe they should have held a news conference, and if they did, I missed it, and said, hey, it was great having J. Cole for 4 games, but he's now gone on tour. Come watch us anyways. I don't think they did that, but I think it was a gimmick and a stunt that worked, and I don't think they should have to apologize. Do you?
No, I don't, because at the end of the day, you can't control that he's got to go on tour and that he decides to leave and all of that. Even if you kind of knew ahead of time, you want to create buzz and get people into the seats, and I think they accomplished that. So I think that's good. Now it's up to the teams and the promotions people to keep people coming to the arenas. That'll be the challenge. Can you do that without a name like J. Cole? But the basketball is entertaining. The product is good, and we'll see if it carries over. But no, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference here. And I've been around this marketing game a long time, and I'm following extremely closely what the leagues are doing, and I'm seeing a shift, and my phone has started ringing from teams all over this continent and leagues all over this continent, and I love it. It feels good. It's like it's been 3 years, Darren, and it's like we finally have hit a level here where we're on the radar of the sports conscience of not just the fans but the teams and the leagues. And my point on that is they're getting him into the building to go to the CEBL games, and they like what they see. It's like I say, if you got new people into CFL games, the product is so good, I think they would come back. But one thing that we hear the most is that the tickets are overpriced. You don't hear that about the CEBL, and you dang sure don't hear it about junior hockey, although you do hear complaints about attendance there. But I think with the CEBL, it was similar to the NLL. They didn't trick me into going. They literally asked me to come and try their product, and I loved it. I bought season tickets, and I've gone ever since. CEBL, they're confident in their product. So maybe they hoodwink people a little bit. Not even intentionally, I don't think. But people will show up, and you said last night it was bumping in the house. Those people will be back. I don't think you feel if you got duped and you went to a restaurant and you had a crappy meal, you're not coming back. I get that. That's not what this is.
No, I don't think so. I think, you get people in the building, and they did have a good time. So, I know you're not going to get that many people in the building every game, and their ticket sales are probably going to go back down a little bit just simply because he's not playing. But no, good entertainment, and hopefully people go back.
from Jeff in Winnipeg. He says, I'm good. Jeff Cabillas, he says, I'm good with the RP show doing how you do things. I was just joking about the cobwebs. I just hope producer Clark and crew are doing upkeep in that studio. LOL.
Bingo!
I wouldn't know. Wayne in BC says, I'm a football guy, but I'm enjoying all the hockey talk as well. I'm even okay with golf, curling, and baseball thrown in as well. It's called the Rod Pedersen Show for a reason. I've never really asked Darren why he wanted to name it that, but in retrospect, I'm glad that you did. From my old radio show, The Sports Cage, after I left, people were like, are you upset? You're not part of that anymore? You're upset with it it's become since you've gone? And I'm like, no, because I was habitually reminded by radio station people it wasn't my show. They said, it's not your show, Rod. It's called The Sports Cage. It's our show. Okay, it's your show. Good. This I feel a little more attachment to, obviously. But when I left the Rough Riders, people don't understand, and you do, Darren, because you were there, but it was tunnel vision. I had no idea what was going on outside that tunnel. No clue. I hardly followed the NHL at all. Had a little middling idea of junior hockey and PGA. What? NLL? Forget it. No, I love being able to work with all these leagues. But having said it, I don't mind saying this. Kevin Smith in Edmonton was with Global Television in Calgary for 20 years. He's now with Alberta Golf. He's done the opposite of me. He's happy to not have to deal with 50 different sports. He's happy to deal with one and focus on golf. That's cool, too. Man, we're the exact same age. But I'd like to think that we've earned the right in our professional careers to be able to talk about what we want about wherever we are, wherever we want to talk about it. You know what I mean? And so it is cool seeing it evolve. And BW in Edmonton says, I appreciate how the show's evolving. I can see the day where there is multiple guests online at one time. The production crew is steadily growing. I think we now have a new system, do we not, Darren, where we could have 3 or 4 people on the air at one time. I don't know that we want that, though.
Again, we'll, see where it goes, right? Like there's so many possibilities on what we can do with this show, and that's the fun part to kind of navigate.
Yeah. And again, you can't cut us off at the pass because we don't know where we're going. That's so refreshing. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod, would you take another CFL job if the opportunity were to arise? I'll tell you right now, absolutely not. And it's already arisen, and no, I would not. Because again, at the age of 49 and having been in this business since I was 16, I'm preferring working with hockey. It's more comfortable to me. It's easier to me. That's where the bulk of my contacts are. I enjoy keeping the CFL where they are. This relationship is good. Let's keep it that way. I don't need to get any closer into it. And I'm sure they agree. Paul Jefferson watching on YouTube says, guaranteed fights in hockey, rappers playing basketball. It's all marketing. Yes, it is. And it's what so few leagues have remembered over the years. By the way, another from John in Edmonton, because he's really brought this shit spot today. The good stuff. He says, Terry Jones got released from his job yesterday. And Darren, you saw that. There were viewers writing me yesterday saying, you got some Terry Jones stories, some good stuff on Terry Jones. He'd been with the Edmonton Sun since 1967. If it's not his hometown, it's darn close to it. He's an Alberta guy. Jonesy. I think you've met him, haven't you, Darren? Terry Jones?
Yes. Yep.
Just a guy, an enormous human being with a heart to match. He always liked me, and I don't know why. Those old-timers always liked me. It's the younger ones that give me all the frickin' flack. I don't know why that is. But the older guys always liked me. So Jonesy was always asking me if I was going to go be the voice of the Oilers or go be the voice of the Eskimos. And believe me, on multiple opportunities, I had the chance to be the voice of the Eskimos and said, no thanks. But to Jonesy, we would always sit and talk. He would always want to, I just realized it. They saw myself in them. Jonesy always wanted to know the vibe. What's going on? What's the pulse in this province? And then he would take everything that I told him, tweak it his way, and put it into a column. This is what's going on in Saskatchewan, and I would love reading it. He's one of those guys, Terry Jones, that when you picked up the Toronto Sun, you tore through it to get the Jonesy's column, and you didn't care about anybody else. You wanted to know what Terry Jones had to say. Not hardly any of those guys left anymore. That's a fact, Jack. And as he got up in years, those stairs, there's no elevator, or maybe there is, but Jonesy never used it at Commonwealth Stadium. Those stairs are long in Edmonton. So when the Riders were playing the Eskimos, whether it was a big regular season game or a big playoff game, he would give me his tape recorder and say, Rod, go shove this in Durant's face. Go shove this in Getzlaf's face. Go shove this in Chamberlain's face, if you don't mind, and record the interviews for him, bring him back. I'm like, absolutely. And then it became to a point where I would just record them on MP3 and email them to Jonesy because he didn't want to go down the stairs and up. So I figured it was the least I could do for this guy, who's in every Hall of Fame, just because he's gave me so much enjoyment reading him over the years. You know, but that's really all I have to say. But he coined the phrase combine pilots. We called Rider fans. I think it was his term, the tractor factor, that I stole. I think he said that.
That's cool.
Do you have any thoughts on him?
No, I saw the outpouring of support on social media, and it's tough, like, you know, for a guy like that to go out this way. But no, I mean, what a career, what a great guy. And you just know you just look at the social media interactions and the people that are showing support. That's all you need to know about the guy and where he stands.
Yeah. And I don't know how Jones will feel. But like Jeff the Stamps fan asked if I would ever go back to the CFL. Look, I look at guys like Dwayne Mandrusiak, 49 years with the Eskimos. Terry Jones, since 1967 with us. You know, my old color guy, Carm Cartieri, 28 years in the Rider radio with, which I had nothing to do with, but he thinks that I did. And I've just seen so many relationships ruined with this industry. I'm not going to be that way. Jonesy said this didn't end the way that I wanted it to. Well, of course not. Does it ever? It doesn't ever for anybody. But here's me. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. 20 years for me in the CFL. It was a hell of a lot of fun. Made a lot of friends. See you later. Boom. I'm on to my next thing. The sun's shining. But so many people can't get over a significantly traumatic event in their lives. Then it actually haunts them for the rest of their days. It's very evident I'm not going to be that guy. It was great. See you later. And I hope those guys can get to that point. But they've got a long ways to go to get. Moose, I'll see you for overtime.
See you then.
Because we're going to talk NLL next and the exciting final with Stephen Stamp from Lacrosse Link. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics, revenue Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Happy Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's the RP Show, episode number 780 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. And as was said about it this week, talking about leagues and topics that the other networks won't touch. And by the way, on the evolution of this show, Brady in Saskatoon's been with us since day one. He says, I love the addition of talking about all sports. Keeps the show flowing with new and intriguing content and up-to-the-moment news. Thank you, Brady. Tank Abbott, watching in the Energy City, says the RP Show is in a different stratosphere in relation to any other sports talk show. That's why I watch. Keep it up and go Riders. And that's the thing, as we bring in Stephen Stamp from Lacrosse Link, this is not fake. I love the NLL, and that's why you're here, Stamper, to talk about it. There's one game. We're going to a best-of-3 at KeyBank Arena on Saturday night. What a final it's been. For those that don't know, Colorado-Buffalo, recap where we got to get to Game 3 Saturday night.
Yeah, Buffalo wins the East in a pair of one-goal games and like last-second games over Toronto, and then Colorado wins the West in a 3-game series over San Diego. Game 1, Buffalo wins at home 15-14, 39 goals, an absolute back and forth, just a crazy game. Then Game 2, Colorado was already without Ryan Lee, their leading scorer from the regular season. He's missed the whole playoffs with a knee injury. Now, after Game 1, Eli McLaughlin is out. He's their leading playoff scorer. He's leading all scorers in the playoffs, even though he had to miss Game 2. So it looks like, not their top 2 scorers are out. There's no way, right? They come out, they get down by a handful of goals. They do that all the time. Colorado comes back and wins 11-8. Fantastic game from, Zed Williams, Connor Robinson, and Dylan Ward. It's 1-1. We go to Game 3 in KeyBank, which I understand is sold out for Saturday night's game. So it is going to be a thriller. And, 39 goals in Game 1, 29 in Game 2. Who knows which way this thing goes? There's no guessing what's going to happen.
Are you going to make the roadie down there from Ontario for Game 3?
I'm seriously thinking about it. Yeah, I think I gotta. It'd be hard to not get down to Buffalo and be part of that whole thing. I was in Buffalo in 2019 when they had their game in the last NLL championship to be held, and it was pretty exciting. But this is just ramped up so much. It feels like the intensity and the excitement is on another level this year.
By the way, I just got to ask you, it's been over a decade since either team's won, by the way. So I always root for the teams that have ever won before. Bandits and Mammoth both have, but it's been a while.
Yeah, 2008, the last time Buffalo won. 2006, the last time Colorado won. They actually beat Buffalo in that. It was a one-game series, a one-game final. So, 14 years and 16 years, respectively, for the two teams. So, it's been a while. So who do you vote for if you want an underdog? I mean, the underdog would be Colorado. They were third in the West, finished 10-8, had to come through and, in theory, upsets in the West playoffs, probably, no big surprises there, except they had to overcome Calgary, who has been their nemesis in the playoffs. So they've gone through a lot to get there. Buffalo looked like the favorite before the season. They went 14-4. I think they're the favorites, although Steve Priola was on Lacrosse like a couple weeks ago and was trying to sell the Bandits as underdogs because Colorado had beaten them in a game in the regular season. I wasn't really buying it. I think the Bandits are favorites, but at this point, one game, it's anybody's to grab.
I got to say this. I'm going to try and get these in as quickly as I can, but the ownership of the Mammoth, who owns the Colorado Mammoth?
Stan Kroenke and his group.
So he's got the Avalanche, the LA Rams,
and the Nuggets,
the Premier League team, and the Nuggets. Okay, so they're with that, and then the Bandits, along with Rochester Nighthawks, are owned by the Pagulas, right? And Kim, the matriarch, I guess, if you will, she's in the Boca Raton Hospital here, like literally a 5-minute drive from me. By that, we hope all is well with her. But these are ownership groups with big pockets. John in Edmonton wants to know, Stephen, could Edmonton get an NLL team again?
They could. There's been a lot of talk of it. I heard a couple of years ago, it was before the pandemic, that it was very close to happening. Things kind of backed off a bit, and the pandemic obviously squashed that. But I think Edmonton is in the running to get a new team. There were some really positives when Edmonton was in the league. It just didn't really work out in the end. I think there were lease issues, which there so often are. But obviously that team went to Saskatchewan, and the Rush have been a huge success there. But I think Edmonton would be a good home again, and I would be surprised if they're not among the next 5 or 6 teams to come in.
Well, it was 14,000 and change in Buffalo for Game 1, just over 10,000 in Denver for Game 2, and you just said Game 3 is sold out in Buffalo. So a lot of people know what's going on. We just got to get more people figuring it out, and the fact that it's on ESPN Plus and TSN doesn't hurt. I got to ask you about the expansion draft for the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. I was talking to Vegas people last night. They're very excited down there. July 7th. How do you expect this expansion draft will go?
It's interesting. I mean, there's going to be good players available. All the teams complain about how they have to lose a good player. It was every year for a while, right? And they lost a couple in a year when it was Philly and San Diego coming in, and again, New York and Rochester. It's just one player per team that Las Vegas will pick. The one thing to me, I mean, you look at Panther City, and they've done quite well. They were competitive for a playoff spot with a big run down the stretch. The thing that strikes me, though, is every time you add a team, we've added a bunch of teams. There are, they get more picks, but they're way down now, right? Because there are now 14 teams who get to protect 11 players each. That's 154 players protected. You look at a few years ago when expansion teams were coming in, you had 9 or 10 teams protecting 11 players. You're looking at like 100 or so, 110 players. So that's another 50 players who are protected from when we first started this expansion push. So there are a lot more players protected. That may make it harder for them to get guys who are ready to contribute in the league. But then again, Panther City signed 2 free agents, Cam Milligan and Dean Farrell, during the season, and they played huge roles. So there's still lots of talent. I think the thing is, it helps being just a single team. You can pick, you can really plan and not worry about another team taking players you're interested in, right? You just go and pick the player from each team you want to try and build a team. And they're going to go young. They're going to try and add a lot of talent that will be around for a while. So I think they'll get good talent, but I'm curious to see how it plays out, having so many more players protected than there were a few years ago.
For sure. Winnipeg viewers chiming in saying they'd like to get an expansion team. I feel like we talk about this all the time, Stamper. I'd like to see a team in South Florida. My friends are saying, nobody wants to go inside in South Florida. I'm like, well, it is a winter league, so I think that, but I guess, do you know how long the list is, or who's next in expansion? Or are they just going to chill for a while now with Vegas coming on board?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a pause right now. There was talk, I think the next one was going to be Phoenix, and that didn't happen. Maybe it still will. Who knows, right? But that was the big buzz I was hearing, was Phoenix after Vegas. I think Montreal was kind of a hot topic for a while. That seemed to cool a little bit, but you never know. There was talk of putting them in Laval, right, in the Canadiens practice facility, where the AHL team plays, and it's a 10,000 seat arena. So there are lots of options. I think Winnipeg is a good option. It's been going very West heavy, and there's still more teams in the East than the West. So you need to get some more balance probably in the West, or you need to add a bunch in the East and have like 2 divisions in the East and 1 in the West. So there are a lot of considerations. I think there's enough talent among runners to add more teams. The one thing to watch, there's a shortage of goalies with experience and who are ready to play a regular role. And that's going to be the challenge for teams coming in.
Oh, boy, here we go. Chris Fox, Foxy, he says Winnipeg viewers need to come to the World Juniors before they think about the NLL. And that's coming up in August, so we can get Foxy on talking about that. John wants to know, why are the Desert Dogs not playing at T-Mobile in Vegas? They wanted to play in the new Lifeguard Arena where the Indoor Football League team's playing. They've settled on MGM. That's where they'll play. Always lots to talk about, Stamper. Thanks for this. Enjoy Game 3 Saturday night.
I agree on World Juniors. Thanks for having me on again.
All right. Moose will join us next for Overtime. It's your last chance. Get your text messages in, 502-902-518-3033. You think I've said it enough. And in the chat as well. We'll be right back with OT with Moose in a moment. You're watching on YouTube live today and 24-hour streaming at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Peterson Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's overtime for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the Stanley Cup playoffs and the UFC. And also Taco Time viewer takeover. Hey, for the love of burritos, it's buy one, get one half off at all Taco Times all day. Over 120 locations across Canada. There's always one near you. Again, buy one, get one half off. You can't go wrong with that at Taco Time. Poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships all across the prairies. Who was the biggest factor in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup? Here is your order of voting so far. Number 1, Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of the Avs, with 38%. He had a goal and a helper. Andrei Burakovsky, 24%. Pardon my typo on that. I put Buramovsky. He scored the winner in overtime. Andrei Vasilevsky, 14%, because he was not good. And other, 24%. Let's bring in the Moose. By the way, Moose, people in Winnipeg writing in and going, huh? About the World Junior Lacrosse. They didn't know about it, so thank God Chris Fox wrote in and says, yeah, it's a thing. It's happening in August, World Junior Lacrosse, just like hockey, but lacrosse. Come watch it at Canada Life Center. I apologize to Rob Tyson watching in Cold Lake, Alberta. He says, for your NLL expert, any word on who will be coaching the Vancouver Warriors next year? If there's any people writing, wasn't Jeff McComb out there in BC? Maybe Jeff would take a stab at it. I'm not sure. Any of those lacrosse insiders, if you're still watching, please answer the question if you can. Who will be coaching Vancouver next year? Dougal Cameron, watching in Calgary, says, hey, Rod, are you going to admit live audiences for your shows at Grey Eagle when you get to Calgary? Would love to meet you and shake your hand and say hello. That is a fact, Jack. And as a matter of fact, we've had live audiences welcome for the last month or so of our shows, Moose? Didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Right at the stage bar. So lots of opportunity to come down and watch and comfortable seating. So, great chance to come on down.
It's outstanding seating right at the stage bar. That's where we do it. So I guess it might be a good time to tell folks that we are I'm leaving South Florida this weekend and heading into Alberta Saturday. Not enough time to get to Edmonton for the game. Man, I would have loved it. But Monday we're at the Rocky Mountain Rotary Club Golf Classic. There you go. Doesn't exactly roll off your tongue. Monday at Bears Paw. And we're going to have some special guests. Have you thought any more on the Bo Levi stunt? Did I let too much out of the bag? Because he's going to be there. There's nothing saying that he won't slap me for real Monday at Bears Paw. Have we thought about that?
I know, right? We'll have to keep the cameras rolling. That'll be important. Just keep the cameras rolling at all times.
I've put in my request for which celebrities I want on the air Monday at Bears Paw, so we'll see if it happens. Chris Fox from Canada Lacrosse writing, he says, most likely a BC guy or a West guy. Andrew McBride and Rob Williams are rumored. So there you go. They don't know who the next coach of the Vancouver Warriors will be. I've done a lot of talking today, Moose. We've had a lot of fun. What do you want to say in the moments that we have left?
We didn't talk a lot about, game 1 last night, and you talk about the poll question, just to kind of wrap on that. I thought Nikushkin was the X factor last night for Colorado. I mean, that pass he made in overtime to set up the goal to me, that was as good of a play as Kucherov made to set up his goal. It was, a normal pass, but the way that shot got blocked to him and in overtime, and not to put it on net, but to slide it across, and then it was basically a tap-in. I thought that pass, and we'll look at it, it's so underrated. And if that's the pass and the play that gets Colorado off and running and ends up leading them to win a championship, I think we'll look back on that moment as maybe being a series-defining one.
Funny you say that. It's my commentary today on Cat Country and Rock 98.5, and it looks like the commentary is now going to be moving to radio stations in Ontario, but it's I scoffed when the NHL said a dream matchup between Colorado and Tampa Bay. I literally scoffed. I think you saw it. And then I got looking at the numbers, and then game one happens. Game one happens last night in the style that it did, and I'm like, yeah, they were right on the money. Maybe I'm just hard to impress. I don't know. But this has turned into a dream matchup. They're two great coaches with Saskatchewan ties, as we know. It's an argument who's got the best D, who's got the best forwards. But it's the Stanley Cup. You know you're going to have two good teams, right? But yeah, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod, hopefully you can make it to historic McMahon next Saturday. Sure. I don't have any plans. Let's go to the Stamps game. Who they playing? I don't even know. The one thing about this show is running 10 to noon Mountain. I'd like to get to the stadium for the walkthroughs the day before. This is what the people don't understand. You get it. That's where the business is done. That's where the chin wagon happens. Game day's game day. There's too much going on. It's the day before the game. Last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute of play. Arlen Bruce III says, is it true that Colorado Avs are really the Winnipeg Jets? No, that's the Arizona Coyotes. But Arlen Bruce, did you see? I told him to write you because we have an invitation to do live shows with a establishment he's affiliated with in Edmonton. Did AB3 write you, Moose?
Probably. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll be looking forward to it.
Okay. Arlen, he's the guy to talk to about live shows anywhere. Not me. I just sit here and yap. He's the business guy. And tomorrow we'll be back here yakking it up on the old yak box. I don't know all of the guests, but I know Jeff Reinbold will be one of them. Moose, thanks for a great day today. Appreciate you.
You bet. See you tomorrow.
Because I thought I was going to see Cyndi Lauper. And then I get there, and she's nowhere to be found.
You just got duped.
I got duped.
Yeah.
Hey, who wants to get duped by dupe?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. So, hell yes. I like it.